Hi guys, welcome back to our next video. Sorry for the radio silence, we've been quite busy ourselves. However, from the tail end of our last video, you may be wondering whether or not we actually bought a caravan. And the prior video to that, before we went to the NEC, we discussed what our barriers to caravan ownership are.
Yeah, so it's things like a tow car. We don't currently have a car that we can tow a caravan with. Obviously, storage space. In the short term, we can't store it at our place, so where can we store the caravan itself? And the reason we can't store it in the first place, we're in the middle of an extension right now, which is slightly complicated in its sort of process. And then, in all honesty, right now, it would be stupid to be buying a caravan.
So slap me around the face and call us stupid because we bought a caravan. To be honest, it was too good a deal to pass. I mean, as we were discussing it with him, there were things that we wanted to add, extras, bits and pieces. And yeah, we will save this actually for another video, but essentially we got what I thought quite a good deal. We got quite a lot of extras, bits and pieces that we're quite satisfied with. So
we did this on the way home from the NEC, and the caravan show itself spooked me in the fact that we probably can't afford a caravan because the way the prices went up, and it wasn't just in one or two caravans, it was across the whole industry. I was starting to think that it was probably out of our price range. Then on the way home, we stopped off and saw the one that we thought we wanted anyway for a price we can afford.
Yeah, like I said, the deal's just too good to pass up. Actually, when we were talking to the caravan dealer about lead times on brand new caravans, he had said, I'm sure he said something to us like the caravan won't actually be ready till June. So we were like, oh, we've got ages, like we've got tons of time to source the caravan, sort out the storage, blah, blah, blah. But he was like, no, like you need to take it now. And we were like, oh God, when's the latest that we could take it? And he was, I think he said like the end of
November.
End of November. So I was like, okay, but fine. Okay, well, I like a challenge. So yeah, so like I say, like a challenge. So in that time, we kind of committed to it. We've paid a deposit. But between now and then, we need to get rid of 2 cars, buy a new car, get a tow bar fitted if it doesn't have one, find somewhere to store it, and procure all of the items required to actually go away in it, because I don't really fancy buying it and then not using it.
Not to mention juggle the finances of selling 2 cars, buying 1 car, buying a caravan, and dealing with an extension.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on.
So we kind of built a to-do list of things that we need to do. So starting off with storage, as just mentioned, we can't currently store at our house at least for the next 6 months or so. And storage places in our area are really sparse.
Yeah, well, actually, that was quite interesting because we looked into Kasawa's storage on the Kasawa website. But all of the storage places locally to us rammed, can't take anyone. You kind of have to like apply to be on a waiting list, which, you know, is ridiculous.
So your nan's obviously got a long driveway and no cars. So we thought about that, but it was a long shot because it seems from the outside looking in, it seems quite narrow.
So narrow, but actually we measured it and there's, I think, 10 or 15 centimetres, 20 centimetres to spare. So actually, yes, so good old Nan is going there. The only thing with that is Nan lives about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. And yeah, so we've got to go quite a way out of our way to go and collect it, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain. It's just typical that she lives east and we would probably typically want to go west because there's not an awful lot that way, but there we are.
Yeah, west or north anyway.
Yeah, we've created a list of things to buy. That's kind of like ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like anyone buys a caravan for the first time, it's all the obvious things to someone that's owned one for a while.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was just looking into like Waste Masters and Aqua Rolls and being like, oh, do I want a water hog? Do I want a Waste Master? I literally don't know. So there's just so much to research, but that's kind of like a non-important issue. We can look into that after. Like we could go and collect the caravan, then focus on buying all the bits and pieces. And then
that's forgetting the minor issue of the car itself.
Well, yes, so the car's actually probably the main issue, and that's been my main focus. So I've actually been contemplating this since before buying a caravan, whether we buy an EV, a plug-in hybrid, or just an old diesel. So just covering each of those. So we've written off the idea of an EV. As much as I would love one, they pretty make fantastic tow cars. They're so quiet, perfect in every way. However, when we were on the way back from the NEC, obviously we've had an EV for 2 years, and we've had the odd hiccup charging, but what we've noticed, or what we noticed on the way home from the NEC, was that the service stations are rammed full of EVs now. Everyone's trying to charge, and you're kind of queuing.
Well, the problem we had when we first had an EV was you would stop, and our car had quite a small mileage allowance compared to some.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but you would stop and it would be sort of 70-30 whether it would work or not. Whereas now they nearly always work. However, that the supply of store chargers versus the number of cars is...
Yeah, well, just the adoption of EVs in general has obviously increased, as it's going to, but the availability of the chargers is lower, and actually it's not really very well set up in the sense that there are nothing that I'm aware of apart from Braintree and Essex and maybe somewhere in Scotland where you can have like a pull-through charger, so you can stay hitched to the caravan. So you kind of need to go to the lorry park or caravan park area of the service station, uncouple, drive round to the EV charger if the one-way system allows you to, wait for the vehicle to charge. To be honest, I think it'd just be a bit of a nightmare in its current state. But I would think that would be a small price to pay if we could afford it, because I'd really like something like a Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, Tesla Model Y. There are some really good cars out there, and we could bunny hop between each caravan site, but the small fact of that we can't afford 50, 60k for a car, having just spent 22k on a caravan, it's just unaffordable. So we've written that off, considered a plug-in hybrid, and actually the day after we went to the NEC, I test drove an MG HS plug-in hybrid. Really like the car, comparable to our current EV.
Well, it's the same car as our current EV,
Well,
really,
essentially,
isn't it?
it's just a touch larger. However, obviously having never driven it before, didn't know what it was going to drive like. I tried some harsh acceleration, shall we say, just to kind of simulate what it would be like having a caravan on the back, just trying to get up to speed. And the engine was really loud and just sounded really strained. So as nice as it would be that we could use the EV only portion for our daily commute, it didn't sound great as we were driving it, and also the economy wasn't that great. So I think I achieved, by the time we got back after our half-hour test drive, bearing in mind I was driving solo, not towing, we achieved something like 78 mpg or 60. No, I think it was 78 mpg, which is good, but it's obviously going to be even less when towing, or considerably less when towing. And they were quite expensive. It was an expensive car.
Yeah, when you compare it to a diesel, when you can get an okay MPG out of that as well, for the additional cost you pay for a hybrid.
You're paying a premium for a hybrid.
The maths doesn't really add up.
Yeah, we couldn't really crunch numbers. So we're actually going down the diesel route, or that's our plan anyway. So looking into diesels, we just thought, you know what, let's just spend 10, 12k and just try and get something with as lower mileage and as new as possible. And just run it for the next 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. Ideally, I'd like just have like a stopgap car, really.
That's partly in line with what we said earlier, on allowing the charging network to get back up to speed.
Exactly, like the charging network will improve. More used EVs will come onto the market. So I think that's kind of like our next car, isn't it? So for now, in order to use the caravan, we need to get a diesel, really. But at the same time, we're still doing work on the house. So actually, if we bought a 6-7-year-old vehicle, it wouldn't really matter if we messed it up. The thing is, you don't actually really get much for your money now. Like 10, 12k kind of gets you 2013 Passat or Skoda Octavia or something like that. And the spec, not really comparable to our EV. So I really feel like we'd be taking a step backwards, but it's part of the course, isn't it? So what I actually looked into was maybe like a Vauxhall Insignia or something. So before our EV, we used to have an Astra, and actually that car was reliable for us, and I liked it. It was absolutely fine. I just wanted an EV. So
And minimal issues, and it's quite cheap to fix when anything
yeah,
does
when anything
go wrong.
goes wrong, relatively affordable to fix. So kind of like penciled in an Insignia as a potential car. But before we could even look to buy a car, we've still got 2 cars to sell. So that's really been the focus. So on Friday, or before Friday, I'd booked our Passat in just to We Buy Any Car, just to get an idea on price. I knew that I'd hammer down the value of it. So I booked that in for Friday. On Thursday evening, we were working at home and finished at 5. But we actually had a kitchen design appointment booked at 6, didn't we? So I thought, oh, an hour, that's ample. Just quickly take the car down to a petrol station, just run over with a power washer, give it a quick spruce, and yeah, clean it up before Friday. So get in the car, but because of all of the torrential rain that we've had, the car has sunk. Oh, so I should say, we parked it on the grass out the front of our house. The car has just sat bogged down in all this mud, wheels are spinning, car's caked in mud, and is stuck on the driveway, which obviously poses a bit of a problem because we wanted to get rid of the car. So anyway, had to go to our kitchen design appointment. We faffed around for a little while. Anyway, did our kitchen design appointment. That went well. So something's gone right this week. Phoned my dad, and my dad is like the kindest man. He would help anyone. So he said, oh, I'll come over and help tug the car out if you want. So
Bear in mind, it's an hour journey.
yeah,
there
it's
and
an
back.
hour journey for him to come and do that, just to help tug the car out. But bless him, he did it and freed the vehicle, so I could quickly run it down to the petrol station, clean it all off, because despite all the rain we've had, there's still a hosepipe ban. So I don't get the difference between the hosepipe down the road at the petrol station, the one at my house, but I'm not prepared to get the fine for the sake of a few quid to run it through the car wash down the road. So did that, took it to We Buy Any Car. Again, they hammered the price down, which was to be expected, but actually it enables us to be shot of the car. So yeah, we got rid of that, which was good, wasn't it? And earlier in the week, I'd booked the MG in with, who was it, Kazoo, to sell that, and they were going to collect the vehicle on Saturday between 7 and 11. I'm not going to go into it here, but loads of problems with the booking process. But anyway, ended up getting pushed back till today, Sunday, to be collected. And actually, they collected that vehicle today, and that was a really seamless experience. Got paid instantly before the car was even loaded into the truck. So that was positive. So we've had one good experience, one bad experience. Well, the booking bit wasn't that great, but there we are.
It's just a classic. Call centres aren't the standard they used to be.
No, exactly. And it is what it is. I thought it would be a hassle trying to get rid of 2 cars, but
We got there in the end.
we got there in the end. That's the main thing. You kind of need to draw the positives. But a bit of a bittersweet day because we got rid of the cars, which is good, but it's also really sad because I really like the EV. So it's kind of like kissing goodbye to something that I love, but I'm hoping to love the caravan more.
First time in about 10 years, going to have to get the bus tomorrow.
I know, we've actually, so now we have no vehicle and we're getting the bus to work. But actually it's funny because I borrowed my sister's Mini and I've been sort of romping around in that at the weekend because I cleaned the cars and didn't really want to use them to get them dirty. However, having given the MG away, which was the last vehicle to go, I've had to cancel the car insurance. So now I'm uninsured to drive my sister's car because I'm not a named driver on her policy. So, and that was a bit of an oversight on my part. Didn't even give it a thought until it was cancelling the insurance. But there we are. So now we are getting the bus. But I must say, we're really fortunate. We live 2 minutes from bus stop. Buses between Brighton and Eastbourne are every 10 minutes, aren't they? So actually, pretty good position to be in. Apart from that, it does make getting another car a bit more problematic. So yeah, so we've been looking into new cars, and we actually found one that was really local, but that was reserved before I even had a chance to call up about that. Anyway, I think it was on Wednesday last week. I'd found an Insignia online, really good mileage, really like 6 years old, so fine, kind of fits the bill. Phoned up, spoke to a really nice salesman. Unfortunately, they don't actually keep the cars on site. You have to pay the deposit to reserve the car. Then they bring it to the showroom. I think they, I don't know, clean it, whatever. And then you can view it and purchase it if you want. However, it's too close to the weekend. They couldn't get it ready for this weekend. And actually, as it turns out, we wouldn't have been able to have gone there anyway because of all this car sale issue that we've been going through. So I rung the dealer today and said, is there any chance of collection on Monday, like tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon if I take a half day off of work? He didn't actually know where the car was stored, what the condition of it was. So he said, I want to say yes, but I don't want to say that. I can't commit until tomorrow morning when whatever person's in to ask. So tomorrow morning he's going to call me back and let me know whether that's possible to go and potentially look by this other car. So yeah, somehow I've got to get to Maidstone, but I think my dad might come in use there. And then also to add even more pressure to it, because everything seemed to be going swimmingly, didn't it? It seemed that we had the cars booked in, another car lined up. I said to Bill, ring up the caravan dealer and just see, or just like confirm that perhaps we could collect on the 26th of this month, which is 3 weeks yesterday, I think. 2 weeks yesterday, 3 weeks yesterday. Anyway, they were like, yeah, that's fine. You could even come and collect it on the 19th. I think they kind of want shot of it to make space, which I completely get. So yeah, hopefully, all being well, by the 26th, we might have a new car to go and collect the caravan in, but I've got to get a tow bar fitted because there's no tow bar on it if we end up buying that one.
We do have a backup plan that the caravan needs to be towed by the 26th regardless, so we can always use your dad to pick it up.
Yeah, Dad, again, kindest man, gentle soul, picking it up for us if not. So we've got backup plans, but it's just one of those things I would like to go and collect ourselves. I think it'd be really nice, it'd be a nice experience, but you can't have it always, can you? So yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you've liked it, please give it the thumbs up. That really does help out the channel. If you want to follow our journey, please tap subscribe and hit the notification bell and you'll be notified each time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching and catch us in the next one. Bye.
Bye.